Welcome everybody, my name is Coach Hayes. Today we're going to be reviewing KEVSTER, rank 2 DPS right now. He is rank 1 on tank, I believe. Yep, rank 1 on tank. Rank 2 right now on DPS, second to Yasinza. I'm very excited. I've been trying to get these replays for quite a while now, and we finally actually got some. So I'm looking forward to this. We have TRACER gameplay, which is exactly what I was looking for. That is not the right code. This is the right code. This is a game from KEVSTER on one of his Smurf accounts. This is his account, Hudgens. He was very kind enough to give me this replay code. Right off the bat, let's take a look at the team compositions. What do we have here? So we have Team 2. We have a Orisa Sig, so standard double shield. Ashe Tracer, and we have a BAP Mercy. So pretty standard stuff from Team 2. Team 1, they are running with a Zarya Bull, Tracer and Ashe, and a Zen BAP. So more of a dive composition from Team 1, and more of a standard composition out of Team 2, double shield. Going to be very interesting to see how he plays this versus the Zen BAP. I want to see him going for this Zen a lot. I think we probably will. Now, the thing is with Tracer, this character is a lot of actions per minute, a lot of APM. So we're probably going to be going quite slow through this VOD. We're going to be pausing it, going in slow speed, and just seeing kind of what he's doing. So he's taking, first thing he's doing is setting up position. The enemy Tracer starts to contest him. And this is like the small things about Tracer we need to watch. So he has one blink. Blinks out of the area. Thinks he's not going to win this because obviously the enemy Tracer has the orb. So this Tracer is obviously going to win this 1v1. He cannot take this 1v1 when this Tracer has orb. I believe he was trying to get behind with this path thing, but the enemy Tracer scouted him out, so he went straight for the mini pack there. I believe his path was going to be coming around like this and pressuring from behind, but the enemy Tracer was contesting him. So he does decide to go all the way behind. And here he just realizes he's not going to win this 1v1. So he's kind of playing defense here. He's just trying to get away. Uses both blinks there as soon as that one comes off cooldown to try and close the get more distance between him and the Tracer. Again, he's going for all of these minis. He's picked up 2 minis so far. And now he's about to make this a 3rd mini. Using these minis when he's behind enemy lines to kind of keep him topped up. And so the enemy Tracer kind of gives up there and she's no longer going for him. He is now back. But again, he has all of these minis. And the Tracer doesn't have orb now. So he is more favored to win this. Okay, so he sees the Tracer. He starts pressuring the Tracer. He also hears the Zen to his right. So I wonder if he's going to react to the Zen and go for the Zen. And he sees the Zen, goes straight for her. Really nice blink to kind of like get behind. And just using his blinks here to kind of disorientate. And make it harder for this Zen to lock onto him. So it gets a lot of damage onto the Zen. Doesn't hesitate to recall there. Because he's already got so much damage down, he can recall. And from there, he can just finish him off. And it should be relatively easy to close out the kill there. So he's killed one, he's killed the Zen, he's now just putting pressure on the tanks. He does see the BAP. He sees the Zarya in front of him, he goes straight for the BAP there, yeah, straight for the BAP. Obviously you want to cut off that main source of healing first before you go for the tanks. Oh, okay. And he's happy to take this 2v1 versus Widow, because obviously the Widow doesn't have any close range damage. There's absolutely no way this Widow's going to be... I mean, maybe the Widow hits a shot, but it's very, very hard to hit a shot on a Tracer when you're this close as Widow. And so he goes in, he blinks in. And again, these are the small things on Tracer you have to kind of realize. The blink usage is one huge thing. So let's watch in super slow-mo here and see. He kills the Zarya. He sees there's 2 here. Blinks instantly to reposition. Obviously making it so much harder for this Widow to land shots. And again, also very hard for this Zen to land shots. And there's one other small detail we might have missed here. So, notice how in this exchange, from this angle here, he's now cut off the damage from the Zen. So instead of playing here and taking a 2v1, because of him just using this wall here, he's actually made this a 1v1 versus him and the Widow. Because this Zen is not going to have any damage onto him here. So he's relatively okay. He also sees the Widow's not looking at him yet, so there's no reason to recall yet. He goes for the pulse bomb. Obviously, a really nice pulse bomb there. And he cleans up the kill. And I'm guessing he's going to chase this Zen down. Using those blinks to kind of blink directly behind the target, meaning that target has to do a full 180. He's really making it difficult for his opponents to kind of land shots on him. Just through that blink usage. And even just these 1v1s, like I can slow these down to slow speed, and we can just watch these 1v1s and kind of get an idea for how he's playing the Tracer and what makes him such a good Tracer. So he sees the Tracer. Obviously, this Tracer behind him has no resources whatsoever aside from the minis. So he's in a situation where he's obviously going to go for this 1v1, right? The Tracer is out of position. He wants to punish her. He has no blinks, and he has his recall. Let's see what the enemy Tracer actually has available here. The enemy Tracer has also no blinks, and he has no recall, but I'm assuming this recall is going to come back off cooldown relatively quickly. So both Tracers kind of in an even situation here. So obviously, aside from blink mechanics, his aim is cracked. Lands a lot of good damage there. Gets a lot of good damage off melee. Notice how he's blinking, always trying to blink behind his targets. Again, getting that melee damage. That's 2 melees now. He's landed on this Tracer and forces recall. He still has his recall available. Goes for a melee quickly before. The reason he went for this recall is because he knew that his recall timer was going to go off soon. So if he didn't recall there, he would have missed out on a lot of HP recovered. So he did go for the recall there. And this should be game over now. He's full HP. The enemy Tracer is half. Wow. Okay. Look at that. Now he's just playing with his food. He's just playing with his food now. Trying to force out all of the blinks. Yeah, he's just playing with it now. He's just staggering this kill. Staggering so hard. And now let's watch that in full speed. Just so you guys can get an idea of how insane these Tracer players are. You guys see how insane that is? So he deals with the Tracer pretty confidently, pretty comfortably. Again. Right now he's setting up position. So they win the fight. First thing he's doing now is trying to set up position. Getting into a position where he can start to flank this Zen, get in a position where he can put pressure on these supports. Maybe even the Widow is one of his targets here. I'm not entirely sure right now. I'm assuming the Zen, the BAP, or the Widow is one of his... those 3 are his key targets that he's going to be going for. So he wins this 1v1 versus the Bull very, very hard. It's not in Bull's favor to take this 1v1. Nice little position here, just putting some pressure on the tanks. Gets a lot of damage down on this Tracer in that initial exchange. I'm assuming he's going to recall soon. Yep. Wow. And again, just dominating this Tracer. You can see it's a mile apart, the difference between this Tracer. And I get it, this is definitely ranked. So obviously the caliber of players that he's going to be playing against are not quite as good. But you know, some of the players on this team are definitely recognizable. Taboo, Amazon Prime. I'm not sure who Amazon Prime is. Genova, I know he's a top 100 player. Taboo, I also know he's a top 100 player. Coffee Mixer, what's up, man? You're in the chat. We're watching you get rolled, dude. But yeah, this is ranked, so obviously he's not playing against Overwatch League level players, but it's still very, very fascinating to see how he's playing the Tracer and how he's kind of using his movement and how he's how he's able to get rank 1 on Tracer. And DPS and tank. Again, I'll break this down one more time. Just this slow-mo, this fight, because it's very, very quick. And it can be hard to appreciate all of the small details and small things that he's doing. So he gets the first a lot of damage on this Tracer. To be fair, the enemy Tracer did a good job of like bringing this back. But notice here how he's also not investing too many blinks right now. He's not investing too many blinks because he knows he's going to recall soon. So he blinks to reposition so that when the enemy Tracer comes out of recall, she's now going to have to reposition and find out where KEVSTER now is. Very easy to track a falling target here. He tracks the Tracer. He's wondering if the Tracer is going to go for the Mega here. This would be a smart decision from Coffee Mixers to go for the Mega. Uses Blink. And the other small detail that even I'm missing is how he's actually choosing to fire his shots. So this might sound like a novel thing, but he isn't shooting when he knows he's not going to hit the target. Which might sound super obvious, but he's saving bullets. Like there, the Tracer blinked, he's saving bullets. He's not wasting that ammo when the Tracer's blinking. He reloads. And again, he's just patient. Patient with those shots. And once he gets the Mega, it's game over there for Tracer. Does try and get on the high ground there with some nice movement. Okay. Sticks the shield. Sigma doesn't bring the shield in. Gets a nice kill there. Quite surprised he didn't go for the high ground here. Maybe because he knows that Sigma's dead, he just wants to put a lot of pressure on this payload. I'm surprised we didn't see him go kind of like behind and up top. Maybe he thinks he can't take that fight because I'm not sure why, but for whatever reason. Blinks again, blinking behind the target so that the ball is going to have a tough time, forcing that ball to 180. Yeah, and there's absolutely no way this Zen is surviving that. When Kevs is on the map. Oh! This dispatching of the Widow there. And he's getting pocket as well. Okay, really, really nice, really, really clean prediction there on the BAP. So he deals with the Widow. Again, he's getting pocket now, so he doesn't even need to invest blinks. Putting a lot of pressure on this ball. This ball is not having a fun time here. He sees the BAP, and he's going straight for this Baptiste. Because obviously, for him as a Tracer, like... in fact, for you as a DPS, for it as a tank, if you can zone the enemy supports out of the fight, you're denying all of the healing that their team is going to get. So, for example, this Sigma is not going to get healing if Kevs is pressuring him. Meaning that Winston's going to kill the Sigma. So he's identifying that and he's going straight for this Baptiste. You can see that his movement on the hero is so adept. The Baptiste jumps up. He knows that when the Baptiste is jumping, he can go for the sticky. Obviously it's a projectile. He predicts where, he knows exactly where the Bap's going to land because it's a jump. He's going to land in one place. And really nice kill. Genova is Shockwave? I'm not entirely sure if that's Shockwave. Is it Shockwave? So I believe he put a lot of pressure on the ball. He killed the Zen. He killed the Widow. He killed the BAP. And he indirectly killed the Sigma through denying the Sigma healing. So a massive impact there in this fight. And you can just see that tracking there. It's just... He's not going to shoot into the Sigma Flux because obviously he doesn't want to give the Sigma HP. Goes for a nice melee there, just getting any damage down he can on the Sig. Yeah, the Zen is... the Zen is strolling through the wrong neighborhood there. There isn't a whole lot you can do about that. It's just an Ashe headshot for you. In terms of position there, let's take a look back and like try and identify why he's taking this position. So, what does this position give him as, on the Tracer? This position gives him, firstly, obviously he's controlling the high ground. If he is controlling the high ground as a DPS, it means the enemy DPS and the enemy supports and the enemy tanks, they have to go through him to get towards this high ground. So that's the first thing he's doing. The second thing he's doing is from this position, it's a good flank route. From here, if the enemy Zen, the enemy tanks, if anyone comes under him here, he's free to play on this high ground to shoot and pressure from above. And that alone is just huge, because it means that their tanks and their supports can't go past this position. Otherwise, he's going to be shooting. And he's also going to have a free position to drop down onto them. The last thing he's getting from being in this position is he doesn't have to use any abilities to get there. He can just walk behind to this Zen and go behind. He can also take all of this flank route behind. He doesn't have to invest any abilities to actually get from this position on towards his targets. Maybe he has to invest a blink or two, but he doesn't have to invest that much. So, yeah, I love this position. And a lot of players don't realize on Tracer how important it is to start taking positions like this, so you don't have to invest those blinks to get there. A lot of Tracers, I see them triple blink in, and they wonder why they struggle when they triple blink in. They get in, they have no blinks, and they have no way of avoiding that damage. The Tracer blink ability is the way that she is so agile and she is able to avoid the damage, because she's forcing the enemies to constantly keep turning around, switching their aim. And so far, these guys are rolling through Dorado. 3 minutes 50 left on the clock. Again, coming straight towards the high ground. He sees his Sigma's out of position, so he's just going to pick him off. Yeah, not surviving that one Sig. He has no recall right now, so I'm assuming we're going to see him play a lot more defensive. He does go for the pulse bomb on the bongos. Straight away there. Yeah, this is a situation where they're just going to focus down the payload. Yeah, BAP is not getting away from this one. And unfortunately, for Team 1, they're in a situation now where they have to touch the point. And so he's just putting pressure when they're trying to stagger to point here. Wow, really, really nice. So, he's focusing on the point here. And he realizes that who's going to be coming back from the spawn? Team 1 supports are going to be coming back from spawn. So he, even though there are people staggering the point, he wants to cut off that healing as Tracer. He wants to deny this Baptiste from healing people on point. He sees the Ashe is low, he goes straight for the Ashe. He knows the Ashe is not in the line of sight there of the drone, so this is going to be a cap. I would be terrified if I was playing support and KEVSTER was on the other team. Honestly, I would be so terrified. So, yeah, he's just, obviously his mechanics are insane, but positioning wise, he knows exactly what positions he needs to be in. He knows exactly what positions he needs to be controlling. He needs to be on those flanks where he has easy access towards the back line. I believe he might have been AFK at the beginning here. Looks like he was inactive. Asking for some healing. Again, like, let's look at what this position gives him. It gives him free access to their backline, because obviously they're pushing the payload, so this position gives access towards their backline. Second, again, is he doesn't have to invest resources. to get onto them, maybe one blink. And again, third thing, he's denying this high ground from the enemies. So the enemies cannot take this high ground position. He decides to go onto this high ground because his soldiers are already over here, and he knows that they're already aggroed towards his soldier. So he actually blinks onto the opposite high ground so that he has kind of like a crossfire here with his soldier. If you can see, his Tracer shooting from this position, soldier shooting from this position. Soldier does almost get killed here, so he has to back off. But it's looking really good now, in terms of positioning. So he sees his team are going back. He decides to reset the fight, take another position. Again, coming straight back around to this high ground position. Nice use of the crouches here just to try and avoid any sound being heard by the enemy team, alerting them to his position. Oh, literally one clipser with Mercy Pocket. That shouldn't be legal. Oh, you see this tracking? I'm fanboying so hard. So he one clips the Ashe from above, just because of this position. Like perfectly, he's perfectly able to one clip the Ashe there, because the hitbox is exactly there, and Ashe is also using her scope. Now this we've got to see in slow mo. We have to see this in slow mo. So a lot of headshots there onto the Ashe. Mercy, for some reason, I'm not sure why, she flies up. And he almost also one clips the Mercy. And I think the Mercy's dead right now. Goes for the melee, blink behind. Always making it difficult for that Mercy, or whoever the target is, to try and land shots on him. Doesn't take any damage in that exchange. Doesn't take any damage. And again, he recalls straight back onto the high ground. And now, obviously, they've killed two, so this should be a free fight win now. The enemy Riss is not having too much fun there. I think he's still going to go for this Sigma. Yeah. Really, really dominant stuff right now. You can see why this guy is the rank 1 DPS and tank player as of right now. Does go for a flashy pulse bomb there. Probably a little bit of an ego play there. Not necessarily going to be a high value stick, because the Mercy's obviously going to get this res off, right? She's going to get this res off. He can't stop the res versus 6 people. Definitely an ego play. You could say this is a play called Asserting Dominance. If you're pulse bombing them in spawn, this is going to have a mental effect on the enemy team. So again, he's in the same position we saw at the beginning. He's on this high ground, controlling the high ground, denying the high grounds. Decides to blink to the rooftop, just farming some of his pulse from right now. He hears his soldiers going for the visor, and so he directs his attention away from these tanks towards the supports. Gets a little bit of damage there, and they manage to take out the supports. But it feels like Team 1 is just having so many issues versus the high ground right now. I would love to see Team 1 potentially walk top right here as 6 and start clearing these positions down so that the soldier's not pressuring them from this position, and so that they can also pressure KEVSTER back from here. Because this is why they're having a lot of issues right now. So Team 1 can avoid this, but obviously this is ranked, so these kind of rotations are not always easy to coordinate in ranked. The solution to this would definitely be Team 1, push around this position as 6, clear them off the high grounds, and then slowly start to take the bridge and this high ground and force the defending team back onto this position here, so that the high ground is not a big factor. Because right now, the high ground is proving a massive factor in this defense. And again, they're still in these positions, still in these dominant positions on the high ground. There's so many people fall into this trap of just pushing up when they have a position disadvantage. If you're getting dominated by the position, you need to deny the position. And we can actually see that is what Team 1 are now trying to do. 2 minutes into the game, they're now trying to take control of this high ground. Luddy is contesting the soldier. Tracer and Ball might actually get this kill. This is a really nice coordinated dive. Really nice, yeah, really clean coordinated dive there. They take the soldier out. They should be able to deny res here as well. Wonder if they're going to try and force KEVSTER down now. KEVSTER's still free shooting until someone presses him out. Doesn't seem to care. Two blinks to get across. He's just going to blink backwards. He's getting Mercy Pocket. Does go for the sticker now on the Sig. But he has an insurance option. The insurance option is he's going to go for the sticky in this position because this is a very close position. And even if he misses the sticky, what's going to happen? The Sig potentially might not have enough time to run away from the sticky. And he's just going to die because of the sticky landing on the wall there. And I'm not sure if I'm reading into that too much. But these are all things we have to factor in when it comes to a rank 1 player. This could well be the exact reason he went for this pulse bomb, because he's confident even if he misses, he's going to be able to stick that to the wall. Alright, so a lot just happened right now. Let's go back real quick. So he sticks the Sig. Using the... He tries to get on the high ground there with the blink. He does actually mess it up and he ends up getting slammed. Very, very close to surviving, to dying there. Again, he's trying to get on that high ground. Again, like, really, really disciplined and like, good position control from KEVSTER. He knows what positions he needs to be in, so he can get access to that back line. What's going to happen for him as Tracer if he's trying to play frontline? He's going to get pressured out. He's going to get blinks forced. He's going to get his recall forced, which is exactly what happened to him here, right? He got his recall forced, and eventually he has to get out of that position. Most of the time as Tracer, you do not want to be playing a frontline Tracer, because that's not what Tracer's good at. Tracer's a flanker. She needs to be in the back. She needs to be drawing them to look behind their team via putting pressure on them from behind. And so he blinks to the high ground here, and again, from this position, number one, he's denying the enemy team this position. Number two, he has easy access to the back line. He doesn't need to invest resources or blinks to get to them. He can just simply drop down here. He can drop off this position, and he's right there on the back line. A really, really nice positioning from KEVSTER here. He doesn't have recall right now, so I'm wondering if he's going to play this a little bit slow. Seems like he is playing this slow. So he has 5 seconds on recall right now. He's coming in. Decides not to go for the BAP there because the BAP is getting pocket. Blinks away. And he's going for the Sig instead. Picks up the Mega. His teammates are kind of quite deep in the back here and starts to try and help them. Which is interesting because I would have thought he would have gone back for the Sig here in this situation. Yeah, so he's pressuring the BAP. The BAP is getting pocket. And this is where I would have thought he would have gone for the Sig, but I'm guessing what he's seen is he's seen the Sig, the Mercy, and the Soldier, because obviously when he's playing the game, he's going to see the blue chevrons above the head, right? He's going to see these chevrons, and he's going to be thinking, okay, I see my team in the back, I'm actually going to rotate myself towards them and support them, rather than going up top here for this Sig. And bear in mind, he is defending right now. Like, Team 2 are the ones defending this, and 4 of them are behind. He's not choosing to go to the payload. He's choosing to support his team here and try and help them and get any numbers advantage they can. And so what he does, he goes for this ball here. Decides to try and take the ball out. And he does take the ball out. And they actually get 2 picks there. And this is... They're definitely in position to... Oh, someone's... Ah, it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, no one could touch there. I still think he made the right play there, because if he goes for the payload there, it's going to be so difficult for him to contest the payload 1v4. So he does support his team there and try and go for that win condition. It's like getting these picks over here and then potentially having someone else touch the point. But unfortunately they cap. Sometimes this happens. Making it very difficult for this ball to get any value. He has no recalls, has no blinks. He's going to play defensively. He does show us that blink that he did miss earlier. Does manage to get onto the high ground. Cool, neat little mobility tech there. Okay, let's slow this down one more time for this Tracer 1v1. See if we can pick up anything new from this one. Will this be on YouTube? Yeah, it will, Xander. All of my reviews are going to be on YouTube. So, instantly blinks behind the Tracer. He doesn't want to take the 1v1 because the Tracer was the first one to spot him here. So let's look at these small details, these minute details. This is what really matters in the 1v1. He turns away, and he already saw the Tracer dropping, so he knows that this Tracer is going to be able to get the first shot on him. He knows the Tracer is going to be able to get the first shot. So, Tracer blinks in. He instantly blinks behind. Goes for a melee. The reason he blinks behind here is because the enemy Tracer had the first engage. She had the first shot. She was the first one that was able to get that shot off onto KEVSTER. So he doesn't want to give that Tracer with the one who already had the advantage any more advantages by staying still. He wants to reposition when that Tracer has the vision onto him. Again, he repositions behind. This seems to be his go-to blink spot, is always blinking behind the Tracer in these 1v1s. I think we're going to see him blink. Okay, he doesn't blink actually. Knows exactly where the enemy Tracer is going to recall to. And I think he's going to go for this kill. He is being kind of wary about pushing straight around this corner, because he knows the Tracer is going to be aware that he's pushing him. He sees the Tracer drop down. I wonder if he's going to go for this Tracer, or if he's just going to be happy with contesting this high ground now. Because he is probably honestly happy with his high ground. He doesn't need to ego chase this Tracer and take the 1v1, because he's stopped this Tracer from taking top. He's controlled his position for his team. And obviously the high ground is king in this situation, because this is where Soldier can free farm with the Mercy Pocket. This is where his supports have a free... they basically have safety from these high grounds. So he doesn't actually chase the Tracer there. He just decides to hold the position. Ah. He just absolutely styles on the Sigma there. He knows the Sigma's dead, but he still goes to the melee. Clean, he blinks behind, goes for the stick. Little melee to send him on his way. And he recalls. Style points. Oof. Almost gets taken out by the balls. And so I think we're probably going to see him start taking the high grounds again. Try and get in that high ground position. He is doing a really good job of making this ball consider which route he's taking, because he's denying the ball. And again, look, he's just investing blinks there to try and stop this ball. So satisfying to watch, actually. So he repositions. Again, I'm going to break this down super slow, because these are the minute and really, really important details on Tracer. He is getting shot by Ashe. He hears the Ashe shot right there. Instantly repositions. Ashe has she has one more shot. He repositions once he knows where the Ashe is. He repositions in the position hardest for the Ashe to hit the shot. So most of his thought process with his blinks is he wants to blink in the position where the Ashe has to make the biggest adjustment to his aim to be able to land this shot. So again, look at this. From the Ashe's perspective, what does the Ashe have to do? Turn that he can't even actually hit that shot. He just decides to try and reposition himself. And the Ashe turns her attention away here. And obviously, in this situation, when the Ashe is not using her AD, the Ashe is basically standing still from KEVSTER's perspective. Very clean stuff. Not looking good for Team 1. Honestly, it could just be game over when you see KEVSTER on the enemy team. I have heard a lot of players say that, actually. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. He's getting in there. Again, going straight for these supports. He's gonna go for the stick. He goes for the stick again. And he lands it. His mobility is just, you know, he's so comfortable with the movement. Again, the BAP sees him, blinks away. Right as the BAP adjusts his movement, he uses Blink to force this Baptiste to readjust his aim again. And what happens? When the BAP just adjusts his aim towards KEVSTER, he then blinks again. But obviously here he sees an opportunity where he can go for the stick. And he's so confident with these sticks, he's just going to go for that. Getting forced out, uses recall. He doesn't have recall now, so I'm assuming he's going to play a lot more defensive. Doesn't get Ash headshot. Gets taken down. Coming straight for the high ground. Gets the drop on the Tracer. He doesn't take any shots on the Tracer until he has a good shot. Like, he could have shot the Tracer a long time ago, but he chooses to wait until he knows he's gonna hit a good bit of damage onto this Tracer. Lines up his shots, and obviously he gets a lot of damage done on the Tracer. It forces a free recall. There's no way the Tracer can continue this 1v1. She's gonna have to reset and get out. Oh, slight misplay there, actually. So, he's now trying to pressure the ball out. Again, he's trying his best to control this high ground. Trying his best to control this high ground and deny Team 1 from taking his position up top. I think what he fails to realize is that the Ashe and Mercy have now taken top, and his team have relatively pretty much gone back. And he's still here. The one misplay was this blink. Right, this is his mistake. I assume he's trying to blink this way and then just kind of like walk out, but I think regardless it's going to be hard for him to survive this. He's 6 HP. Yeah, he's going to get taken down. But he's investing so much time and effort to try and clear these high ground positions, because that's exactly where he wants to take those flanks. Coming right side, he's taking the high ground again. Again, from here, I'm sounding like a broken record right now, but again, he's coming from the high ground. He wants to drop on the supports. He can easily drop on the supports from this position. He's denying the enemy DPS this position. And he's minimizing the amount of blinks he has to use here to get onto their supports from this position. If he comes from the front, this is potentially where the BAP could be shooting, the ball could be slamming. I don't know, the Ashe could be throwing dynamites, that kind of thing. So he's avoiding these dangerous positions because he doesn't have the health pool to be able to take those positions. He's not a tank. He wants to be flanking and taking these positions where he can have access to the backline. He just gets 2. I think they just win now because they have spawns. Oh my god. That's just nasty. We've got to watch that again. That is so nasty. So he's getting forced out, uses recall. The Mercy's trying to go for this res, but he's just doing a really good job of denying this. Mercy realizes it's not going to happen. And the drone expires, so it's game over for the Mercy here. No stick. He's using a lot of his stickies on the Sigs. Like, he must be very confident landing his stickies on Sigmas, because I'm not sure how many out of all of his stickies, but most of them he's gone for the Sigma. Maybe all of them, actually. Maybe all of them he's gone for the Sig. Very, very clean stuff. Like, absolutely dominant. You can see clearly why this guy is rank 1. Like, his tracer is so clean. And I sound like a massive fan right now, but I am. To kind of summarize what he did so well, obviously his movement is insane. His movement is just cracked. Like, he's been playing this hero for a long, long time. Definitely is his most played hero, I'm sure of that. He, firstly, is so good at controlling positions. He knows which flanks he needs to take. He's taking the flanks where it provides him a good high ground position. So that's the first thing there is he's got the safety from the high ground. He's denying the enemy that position because obviously he's taking it for himself. His stickies look so clean. Like, he's going, all of his stickies are going for this Sigma because he's confident he can land those stickies. Yeah, his 1v1s versus the Tracers, those small and minute details in the 1v1 is what allows him to win that. And so the small minute details I'm talking about, for example, he's using blinks whenever the enemy has readjusted their aim onto him. So every time he sees the enemy adjust their aim onto KEVSTER, he's going to invest a blink, and he's going to blink to a position where it's the enemy has to make the biggest adjustment to their aim to be able to land that shot on him. Really, really, really impressive stuff. I need to get some more of these VODs. I need to see more, because that was so much fun to watch, actually.